As a law student, are you struggling to understand what legal practice exactly looks like beyond the scope of your college textbooks and bare acts? Then, well, yes, you are at the right place because I'm starting with a new series called The Legal Practice, and we are blessed that we have with us my former employer and mentor, Mr. Amit Meharia, who's a professional himself in this field. He runs MCO Legals, which is a firm that has been running since a few decades now, which is into civil, corporate, commercial litigation practice. And he's here with us to help us understand the basic nuances of this profession, of the legal practice. And I'm sure by the end of this series, you'll be very well versed with these things. Hi guys, I'm Ayushi, your mentor for law-based examinations, and welcome to Law Digest. Let's welcome Amit sir and let's hit off with this new series. Hello, sir. Welcome to the channel. I'm so delighted to have you here. And at the same time, I want to thank you for being actively participative in this session, wherein my endeavor is to inform the students about how does the legal practice actually go around and what do they really expect after doing their LLB, what can they expect out of the legal practice. So, to my viewers, I will say that this is the first session that is going to happen wherein we are going to give you a background of the legal practice, and sir will share his experience in this field, and eventually we will come out with more videos in this particular series. So make sure that you are following us here and you take some valuable insights from Amit sir so that you're able to effectively go through your law school and bring certain practices into your daily routine, so that eventually when you are functioning as a lawyer, you are well informed and you have those skills in you.
Hi,
Yes.
Ayushi.
Hello, sir. So the first question that had come to my mind is that, we are talking about legal practice. So what are the kinds of legal practices that, actually go around in a law firm? Like in the, while I was introducing you, I had given students the information that MCO, where you're the managing partner, you are into practices like civil, commercial, corporate, arbitration, all sorts of practice are there. So what exactly are these practices and how are they divided?
Thank you, Ayushi, for inviting me to this beautiful program, and I hope I'm able to meet your object. Let me start with this. Law firm is a very generic term we use, actually. What happens is that you have to look at from the practice. Either you become after qualifying your LLB, you become a arguing counsel, you go to the courts and everything every day, or you sit in a law firm, you run a law firm, or you be a part of the law firm. There are two very different functions there. A single person cannot be an arguing counsel and also be part of a law firm. It's humanly not possible.
Yeah.
Because you spend your time in the court from 10 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. and then you come back. So who will run the law firm? So it doesn't happen. That is a basic concept. So it's a very different practice. Now, law firms in India, what is happening? There are few types of law firm. One is a standard law firm, and what happens? Many advocate on record, say advocate on record in a Supreme Court, he has a chamber. It's called a law firm. Two or three people sit together. How we at MCO do, which you have experienced while you were with us, is that we keep it a very organized, like a solicitor practice, a practice which is based on client relation. You have to maintain the client, communicate, find a solution to the problem, and to ensure that it doesn't turn up into a litigation. Litigation
Right.
should be the last option.
Yes.
So litigation is a process of service of delivery of legal
Hmm.
services. It's not an area of practice in that per se. Law is like corporate law, which is again a jargon. Then there is civil law, which includes corporate, but people,
Hmm.
it's a usage. So basically, there are two types of law. One is civil and one is criminal. Civil will have corporate contracts, family, and all those things, and criminal. So law firm, they maintain the clients, they get the work, they solve it themselves. They have a team. They internal have team who go for litigation, court appeal. But when a senior is required, we engage a senior when the stakes are. Otherwise, our team will go to the court, do the work, come back, and again do the work. So it's a very solicitor practice, and it should be in that. So
Right.
setup of a law firm is in this way, Ayushi.
Right. Yes, sir. I
And people are
remember.
very confused about law
Yes.
firms. I know that.
Yeah, especially between litigation and corporate. I remember that, whenever freshers used to come to MCO and they were very hell-bent on this, the fact that we are going to practice corporate only. You always used to say that don't be, put yourself in this capsule. You have to try out different things, and जब तक आप litigation नहीं करोगे, you can't really understand corporate also. So it's very important to keep yourself open to these practices. So, sir, what exactly is the difference, or we can say what experience one might gain uh, while doing litigation as well as corporate practice?
You see, litigation again is I think it's better to say it, litigation is like a court practice. What happens? What is corporate law? Is it company? Is it the tax law? Is it the restructuring? So it is a very jargon. When I qualified and I came back to India and I was working, I used to always carry the Companies Act with me, like a novel. And I ended up for the first 15 years not doing anything in Companies Act. So
Yeah.
you just can't choose in that way. Time how folds you and everything with surprises. So that is the difference. So don't pigeonhole yourself.
Hmm.
It's not Boston legal, which we think that corporate practice will be in that way. So corporate practice is company law, competition law, contract, transaction work, documentations, and everything, due diligence and all this. So
Yeah.
don't stick to one, be open, and without litigation, you cannot be a good lawyer. You can be a corporate practice with litigation. I do corporate work, I do company regularization, this, but I also do commercial corporate litigation, whether it's IBC, whether it is winding up. Because law evolves every day, jurisprudence is
Yes.
changing because we are not a codified law, we are common law.
Yes.
The
Yes.
court are interpreting a section every time and every day. So what is the so until and unless you are in touch with litigation or you are touch with the developments, you cannot be a lawyer. So do not
Yeah.
pigeonhole yourself. You joined MCO. I remember you
Yes, sir.
came and you said, "No, sir, I want to be a corporate lawyer." That was the first sentence you had used, and you
Yes.
ended up becoming a litigation. You used to go to court, and you were the famous adjournment taking master in the court
Yes, sir.
in Supreme
Yes,
Court.
sir.
Uh,
I was also recollecting those memories only while you were speaking. The same thing was coming
yeah,
into my mind, that how eventually from sticking to drafting legal opinions and agreements, we actually were working on those big cases wherein there were full on pleadings that were going on and arguments that were happening. We were briefing seniors, since MCO is mostly always engaging senior counsels because of the high stake cases. It was such a huge learning that came across being a part of MCO, how we used to, deal with the case, get down to list of dates, and building up arguments, doing that research by ourselves. And we were so on our toes during the court hearings, and we were quite prepared at that point of time.
yeah,
uh, these aspects, I want to tell the viewers that we are going to deal with all these things in the upcoming videos. This video is just to give you a background about the legal practice. So my next question would be that, since you're already employing a lot of law students, freshers so to say, apart from obviously the experienced ones, you're giving them just the chance and you see their journey. So when you are employing these law students for your law firm, what exactly do you expect out of them, so that they can prepare on those skills while they are at law school presently?
First thing, everything comes with the time. But when I first, normally there's a process where we meet the freshers, applications keeps on coming, it is sorted by the HR and everything, and then a shortlist comes to me. So CV talks a lot. We think that we just copy paste it, don't do that.
Correct.
Let your CV be one page, but it should be
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
Lying is an art which a student cannot get it without experience of 10 years of being an advocate. It takes
Yes.
time. So, your CV should be very simple, without jargon words and to the point. And, what I look for, I expect freshers to have some element of discipline in them. And another is the element of patience. So
Yes.
I choose when I interview a fresher, I do look at that body language of the freshers, whether they have the patience. And it's an art to sit on a chair for 8 hours a day and not work.
Yes,
I
sir.
tell you, it's very difficult. I must
Yes.
have said this dialogue to you when you had
Yes.
started. It's an art to sit in your room on a chair for 8 hours.
Yes, sir.
And many people fail and they just run away.
Yes,
So
I.
discipline, you must be organized in your LLB or your college or home. You should be organized in the way the papers, you should respect how to organize, how to arrange papers. And these all comes with discipline. So freshers, we don't look for many things. Yes, definitely law college, we look at it. We look at it
Right.
that there's a primary studies are in English medium because if we are employing someone in Bombay, so there are a lot of Marathi applications, and so a lot of them do from government colleges. Problem
Yes.
what happens? Our law is in English. Our
Hmm.
clients talks in. So what happens? They have a language barrier. So
Right.
those things we do consider when we are looking at a fresher, whether it's CBSE, ICSE graduate, primary studies, those things. But yes, discipline and patience is the most important. Rest,
Definitely.
if one is a learner, they will learn anything.
Definitely.
That's all.
I.
And don't be worried,
Yes, sir.
freshers, your students, your audience, they should not be worried.
Yes, sir. I remember most of the times what used to happen was that my desk was very unorganized generally. It was full of files and all my things were kept together here and there. There were bare acts and files lying. And I also remember you telling us from time to time that that today you've been sitting for quite some long and you haven't gone out for refreshment or water or anything. So you've always said कि आज तो बहुत लंबा sitting लगा दिया है. So I remember all of those things with
Yeah,
you
one should
saying
be
that.
organized, Ayushi, but should not become OCD also.
Yes, sir.
It's not like that.
Yes, sir. Um, so, sir, having said all of that, I think after people join a law firm and they're working on different projects, there are different teams that are involved. What exactly is the hierarchical structure that one might expect at such a law firm? That what are the roles and responsibilities as a fresher that these law students might be assigned?
You see, law students are freshers, so they are freshers. So they are totally on the board for the first time. So responsibilities don't come at that time. The only responsibility is to maintain the discipline first. Hierarchy, every law firm has a different style of hierarchy. Normally nowadays people are having trainees associates, where
Yes.
someone suppose you qualify as a LFD, you come, and you're applying as a trainee associate where you
Yes.
stay for 6 months or say 8 months, whatever the understanding. And if we like it, because by that time you do your exams, get the AW and all those. So we then you absorb it. You become an associate. Generally, law firm has trainee associate, senior associate, principal, and then the hierarchy goes on. Responsibility at the fresher stage is to maintain the discipline. You will be allotted a senior above you, which will be, if you are a trainee associate, it will be associate. The associate will report to senior, and the team works on like we used to do. So there is a colleague there in Delhi. Under her, there are 5, 6 people below them. So it distills up. But yes, for a fresher, it is to maintain and responsibilities will come with time. It doesn't come on the first day.
Definitely.
And we in our organization don't ask the freshers to do photocopy or anything, which happens in
Yeah.
many law firms. I know.
Correct.
So a lot of my friends or colleagues or interns, I know they left the big law firm because they were
Yes,
ended up
sir.
doing photocopying till 1 a.m. or
Yeah.
2 a.m. Those things should be avoided. But yes, we ask the freshers to do the filing, how to arrange the document, arrange the papers date-wise, post-take it, what is the logic, how to read a cause list, what is the logic, what is OP number, what is WP number. These are basics. If you don't learn this, so we train the freshers in that way and give them just list of things to make.
Yes, sir.
Fact is 95% of the job. Law is 5%.
I very
I
well
hope I'm
remember
able
that
to,
statement.
yeah. Yeah, so don't worry.
And even when I joined MCO, I remember initially for the first few days I was drafting list of dates, and when uh, I was able to do fair job, then we eventually moved on to drafting a tender agreement with you. And I remember that it was over a span of 2 3 months, that it was a very heavy tender. And the best part was that I was directly involved and working with you. So that confidence that every associate at MCO might get, that you're in direct contact with
Yes.
the managing partner himself, and there was so much to learn. There are things, during that first stage only, that I had learned, I still apply in the agreements that I do draft. And I think that knowledge will stay with me forever, and that learning will also stay with me forever. I'm so glad to have worked at MCO with you, sir, and it is
Man,
really
we've been privileged to have you in MCO because I've learned so much from you, you know, how to be patient and everything.
yes,
So learning is an endless process. We learn from our juniors, seniors, everything. But yes, list of dates, those are very, because like in the previously you had asked a question about senior counsels. I
yes,
just
sir.
wanted to point it out to you know, senior counsel will give you 5 minutes or maximum half an hour conference.
Yeah,
You are going to him after preparing the case out of 10,000 pages. So your job as a law firm is to decide out in 10,000 pages, how do I
mhm,
brief the senior counsel in half an hour or 10 minutes? Like Abhishek Manu Singh, we won't give you more than 5 minutes.
yes,
Tushar Mehta, Solicitor General, he will sit for 2 minutes and then he starts getting irritating for the next conference. They're
yes,
computers, they work very fast. You
yes,
say a sentence to them, they know what has happened 20 days ahead of it. They're so fast. So you have to bring down 10,000 pages in a one A4 page and give that to the senior counsel. And that's not a
yes,
joke.
yes,
It's
sir.
very
It's
difficult
an
to do
art.
it. You have to calculate everything, and my object is this, and within one page, I have to brief Solicitor General, and within that one page, he's going to submit in Supreme Court and get and he does get so
Yes, he
this is how
does.
it works. Because you mentioned about senior counsel, just
Yes, sir.
remembered it, and you
And
remember how client handling, how good you were with one of our Maharashtrian clients,
sir, I
and you were
definitely
scared
remember that.
from the
There
Maharashtra
was so
state
much
office.
of there was so much of pressure at that time that I was actually sitting in the filing session to get the documents
Matters.
filed rather than
And suddenly the phone rings and you have to answer him. Every
yes,
5 minutes, he to call you, Mr. K, sir.
yes. So
Every
yeah,
5 minutes.
it's not just about drafting or arguing, it's also about
It's
client
not a
handling.
joke. It's how to handle the situation. Client
Yes,
will not understand, but you also know
yes,
that client at the end is your Lakshmi and Saraswati. We
yes, sir.
learn at the expense of the client. We
Correct.
make errors. We
Yes,
make
sir.
errors, but client pays for those errors. So they are
Yes,
Lakshmi.
sir.
So that pressure, they wanted file to be today, otherwise his job will go. So
Yes, sir.
imagine the pressure that was on you at that time of filing of that case in Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
You know.
That is what I want to like bring across to these students who are watching this video, that what can you really expect out of the legal practice. And I think, sir, we've tried to address the basics and the background of this particular session. Towards the conclusion, only I would. You've already summed up that how students learn and everything. We can just tell the viewers that what further can we expect out of the coming sessions, that things that we'll be talking about, like we were discussing about list of dates, and how to prepare a brief, and what else can they really expect out of these series, that
So
videos will follow
what
further.
yes, after going through having this session, I feel like since they will be freshers, your students and your
Yes,
audience are freshers and they are studying law. So it is
yes,
for them a choice to make what they want to do with their life, a career. So if that is the choice, law firm we have done, then we'll go through how the first days are, how the work should be done, how a list of dates should be made. how to prepare a case, how to control the facts. Then next step we go how to do the research. Research
Yes.
is just not finding a ratio. It is about
Yes.
relating that on facts. That
Facts.
is the real research. We'll go through that. How to brief counsel, how to work in a team in an organization while handling your ego,
Yes,
and
sir.
how to say we and not an I.
Yes.
Those things will do conduct of case, legal opinion, how to draft agreement, and rest. It will be all on your discretion how many sessions you invite me.
Sir, I wish I could have you for the whole month. And, even though, a
No,
month
no,
is
no.
less to teach these basics, but
Yeah.
that shall be our endeavor. That
Yes,
by the end of this series, students have something concrete in hand and they already know, and they have their expectations set that what they are actually going to face in the real world. With this, I'll end this session, sir. Thank you so much for being a part, and
thank,
looking
thank you,
forward
Ayushi.
to, yes, sir, more such valuable insights from you in the further sessions. Guys, that was Amit sir from MCO Legals, as I told you earlier, and he'll be there with us for the upcoming session. So make sure that you are following the channel, you subscribe to the channel, you're also following us on Instagram so that you stay updated with the legal news, with the legal practice, and many more things that we can expect out of this series coming from Almighty himself, Amit sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Ayushi. Huh.